I really thought I was going to be making a different video today entirely, but as 2023 continues to creep on by, my expectations are getting comboed to death. Which brings me to Marvel Midnight Suns, the best Marvel game adaptation we've seen since, well, Insomniac doesn't count. Those Spider-Man games really make you feel like Spider-Man.
At its core, Insomniac Games' adventure strives to make you feel like Spider-Man.
Jokes aside, I spent over 200 plus hours playing Marvel Midnight Suns and its new game Plus in an obsessive way. I love XCOM and similar turn-based strategy games, but I don't like card games. However, Firaxis found a way to bring enjoyment through the fusion of both. At times the game is stunning to watch, especially during hero abilities. That put the in fucking awesome. The RPG mechanics help create a sense that you're part of a growing team, and the deck building is the most satisfying implementation of the Firaxis formula I've seen yet. The story is cringe, but more of that in a future video. Instead, I'm here to talk about Marvel Midnight Suns DLC and ultimately what seems to be the historical consequences of developing a game for Marvel or DC. At this point, we are one nation under Disney, and their reputation in the gaming space is abysmal. The problems I will be talking about today obviously aren't a result in an incapable studio. XCOM games have been widely celebrated and praised, as well as openly mocked for their lack of understanding probability, but
Target's still up.
Marvel Midnight Suns and its developer Firaxis are in some deep water. It was just announced yesterday that Jake Solomon, the creative director at Firaxis, and the studio head Steve Martin are leaving Firaxis on the same day Part 2 of the planned DLC for Midnight Suns released. This new DLC brings Venom to the motley crew of heroes following the release of Deadpool last month, and it is spelling chaos for what I considered one of my favorite games of 2023 so far. With the release of two of the most iconic anti-heroes in Marvel, and what I would suspect to be the biggest drum up of hype for the game since launch has led to an unplayable, buggy, crash-inducing version of the game, leaving fans like me unable to get farther than 40 seconds of playtime before the game just poof, Control-Alt-Deletes itself. I spent 8 hours yesterday after the DLC launch of Venom, trying to bring the game to a playable state, clearing my download cache on Steam, uninstalling and reinstalling, verifying files, lowering graphics to its minimum, turning off ray tracing and DLSS, changing the game to windowed full screen, reaching out to 2K support, which don't bother, and several other methods discussed on the game's Steam forums. All I can say is that with each new DLC, which costs $15 a piece on top of the base game, has brought more uncertainty and frustration to the game than it is adding to the overall quality. This is an insane situation for what feels like content that was cut from the base game to add as DLC anyway. I have seen many people buy the game due to the release of these new characters, only to find out that they can't get through the tutorial. What a joke. This serves as a PSA for any fans following DC Marvel games being promoted this year. Post-launch content will not make the game better. It only serves to keep a game alive longer than its expiration date. The team has already moved on. Studios don't have enough resources to actually support the live service games they're making. There are very few doing a good job of keeping their games alive, Epic being the best example. To me, what games as a service has devolved into is cutting content that should be a part of the $70 box price, being cut to be sold as DLC at a higher rate. Content that has been poorly optimized because they don't care anymore. The game sales are already past its prime time anyway. To wrap this up, don't let the Venom DLC for Midnight Suns trick you into getting this game. Most of you won't be able to get past the tutorial until a future hotfix. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll be covering Marvel Midnight Suns extensively as the DLC comes out and more information about what's happening inside Firaxis is detailed. But if you like this kind of content, consider giving it a like and subscribe as you'll see more of it in the future. Thanks.